Hey guys, James here again. This is going to be what if Naruto is a Hyuga. So in this one, I do want Naruto to have two Byakugan, so I'm going to do something really bad, but I also can make it right, I guess. I'm going to make Kushina a very distant Hyuga relative, a few centuries back. Where she's only 99.8% Uzumaki, the rest of it is just the DNA in her body is Hyuga, but she does not have any Byakugan abilities. But we have Minato as a full-blooded Hyuga, full-blooded being bad. But eventually, when Naruto's born, he's born into Byakugan and the brown hair that Minato, or black hair that Minato has. So with this, Naruto would nonetheless still be born with these two Byakugan, and, due to Minato not really being anyone too elite in the Hyuga clan, well, Naruto is more or less treated as scum and a member of the branch house. And mainly as a tool that could probably advance them. If he's any kind of prodigy like Minato was, then all he does is further the Hyuga status in the village as the strongest, nothing more. And all Naruto will be to them is a tool. But if you guys like the Naruto Hinata ship, there will not be a Naruto Hinata ship. I will not promote incest. So yeah. But Naruto nonetheless will just proceed to basically just be raised by the Hyuga, but only the elders, because they can't get a pass to beat the shit out of Naruto. So eventually, by the time Naruto's 5 years old, doesn't show any talent for awakening the Byakugan or even using taijutsu. Doesn't show any talent for anything. All he seems to be some loud, brash kid. Eventually, Yashi just beating the dog shit out of Naruto daily until he awakens his Byakugan. Now, Neji and Hisashi are the ones that have to watch Naruto go through this. But when Naruto's around 5 years old, I think it'd be a bit earlier, but let's move it up. Well, Naruto's already 5 years old currently. But one day he'd be out in the woods training, punching a tree as hard as he can, over and over and over at rapid speeds. Naruto may not have a talent for taijutsu or anything, but still, physically and in terms of speed, he's a beast. But eventually he would hear someone wrestling on the bushes. He sees a ninja jump from the tree. Naruto's able to somewhat sense the chakra of this person, realizing it's Hinata, as he's able to somewhat sense it. As Naruto able to sense the chakra as this Hinata, as he suddenly would dash forward, jumping through the trees right after them. Before Yashi can realize what's happening, he then sees Naruto jumping from the trees and pulling out a kunai. As soon as the ninja does something behind him, he's grabbed by the hair, and a kunai is jabbed right into his head, being killed. Others try to escape, but Naruto just picks up the kunai, throwing it right into his leg as the guy would fall. Then Naruto would jump, kneeing him right in the throat, and it kind of just crushes his throat, killing him. The guy dies choking on his own blood. Naruto would land, catching Hinata, and at that, Yashi would look at the dead Jonin on the ground, realizing that Naruto more or less had a talent for just whatever he felt was right in fighting. These guys didn't expect some random kid to pull a kunai and shove it right through their skull. So, yeah. Yashi does somewhat respect Naruto a bit more, but all it leads to is just Naruto being pushed to more or less learn how to use Hyuga Taijutsu. But we go to when Naruto is 7 years old. It's known the Uchiha clan had been massacred, and now it's up to the Hyuga to be even stronger, so they can protect Konoha. At least Yashi can keep beating up Naruto, and one day when Naruto, seems to be just too weak, Naruto's covered in blood and bruises, and Hinata, Neji, and Hisashi, Hisashi and Hinata, and Hisashi, all those learns that some random kid did it because the imprint on the guy's throat should be very small. They basically just blame some random smart child in the Hyuga clan for it, and that child was killed. So, yeah. It's obviously that this damage cannot have been done by an adult because, the attacks were strong, sure, but the imprints in the woods were a little too small to be an adult, so they blamed some random innocent Hyuga kid. So Hisashi's not dead. But Naruto proved to more or less just be very useless, and as Hisashi, Hinata, Neji, and Hanabi are watching, eventually Yashi will walk up to Naruto, holding his hand in chakra, and now his hands are sharp as a kunai, and slash Naruto across the chest, and will stab him right through the stomach, telling Naruto that he'll kill Naruto next time he proves to be this worthless. Suddenly Yashi from the back is just elbowed full force, and his spine almost shattered. Hisashi then slams Yashi's head right through the floorboards, telling Yashi that Naruto's a kid, not some weapon. Naruto at this point is basically unconscious. Yashi just basically cut someone who wasn't even awake. Hisashi picked up Naruto, and as Yashi tried to use the seal on his brother, so then suddenly Neji lands an axe kick right on Yashi's face, knocking him out. And Neji would escort Naruto and his father into, their house, as Naruto's being tended to. Eventually he wakes up around an hour later with his body completely healed. Not even bandages are on him or anything, just a kid. He's just basically in an ice bath with Neji holding him up. Eventually, Hiyashi would barge in, and Hiyashi sent flying through the wall. Suddenly, Hiyashi is grabbed by the throat, and not for the first time she feels upset. Well, he's been beaten to a pulp day by day, and doesn't get a chance to fight back. For once, so he just realized that Neji and Hiyashi were the ones being nice to him. In response, Naruto's hand is coated in Naito's chakra, and he's slashed right across the chest, almost being killed immediately. Hiyashi falls back, coughing up blood, and crawls away, with some elders running in, picking him up, and running out. Well, one thing that Naruto would see is Hinata, and she wants to apologize to her, but he sees her mouth one thing. He deserved that. Now he then yelled at Hinata saying, why would you say such a thing about father? He's a monster, pointing at Naruto. Naruto puts on his clothes, and she offers Hinata to train with him, as, she seems to know Hyuga martial arts better than him. If you guys wondering about the seal, Naruto did have one, but Kurama, showing somewhat pity for Naruto, absorbed the seal. So it's basically impossible for Naruto to get one on his head. So yeah. But Naruto would proceed basically to learn from Hinata, Neji, and Hisashi. And he mainly does this at night, where Hinata can sneak out, and Hiyashi will not care. Currently, he's very badly injured, so he can't really go out and tell Hinata to come back inside. No one can. So at night, they all train in the branch quarters, and train as hard as possible. Or during the day, the elders then beat Naruto to a pulp, but do realize that he's beginning to be able to fight back. Actually do really good at that. But by the time Naruto is around 9 years old, Hiyashi approached Naruto one day while he was training, takes off his shirt, revealing the scars are actually now fully healed, and actually challenges Naruto to a fight. Naruto tried to rush Hiyashi throwing a kick, but then Hiyashi would grab Naruto by the head, throwing him on the ground, saying, Who told you to fight? I said that I challenged you, not that you're allowed to fight back. Everyone's immediately shocked that Hiyashi would actually do such a thing. Well, technically, he can order around anyone he wants in the Hyuga clan. Naruto, realizing that he has to obey Hiyashi, has to get beaten to a pulp for around 8 hours on end. And by the time he's done, Naruto's barely even alive. Hiyashi eventually put out a kunai, stabbing it in Naruto's shoulder, and told Naruto how about he shoved it to the head like he did the Kumogakure ninja. And he can actually turn in Naruto to Kumogakure if he wants to. Kurama would be speaking Naruto in his head, as Naruto currently doesn't really speak at all. Naruto knows that in Hyuga clan, no one really wants to hear his voice unless it's Hinata, Hisashi, or Neji. In the academy, he has no friends but Shikamaru and Choji, and then again, he's just so quiet and antisocial he's not used to speaking to people. Kurama in Naruto's head begins yelling, Brat, you have to fight back, you have to or I'll kill you. But Naruto just responds in his mind, saying if he fights back, he's going to die, what's the point? Kurama offers Naruto not to be in full control of his chakra, if he's willing to fight back against Hiyashi, and use his power to his full ability. Naruto nodded as suddenly Naruto's body is coated in a red aura. His body immediately heals, almost not to full ability, but heals a lot. Naruto then will hop back, getting in the stance, and say, lock on. His Byakugan then activates. Suddenly Hiyashi strikes right in the chest, as one of Naruto's eyes are red, or his Byakugan's red. And at that, Hiyashi sent flying through the building, and Naruto ends up clenching his fist, and saying Hiyashi can't come at him again, but he's going to fight back this time. Hiyashi dashed at Naruto, and Naruto would actually resort to his normal street fighting style. As Naruto's not really one for Hyuga martial arts, he has no talent for it. The thing is, he has a really good talent for street fighting. Well, that's kind of what he does all day with Jonin. Jonin attacked Naruto out of nowhere, mostly Hyuga Jonin, which gets him used to Hyuga martial arts. He did not still as skilled as Hiyashi, sure, but still, he's strong. But Naruto does not usually allowed to fight back or go all out if he wants to. But for the first time, he's been going all out, and completely dominating Hiyashi using street fighting and just sheer agility. By the time he's done, he's going to ride sensing Naito's chakra, using Hiyashi being to a pulp, and see Naruto with the obvious kunai wound in his shoulder, but it's healing. Eventually, Naruto punched Hiyashi through the building again, and Naruto and Hiyashi had just been beating each other to a pulp the whole time. Eventually, he was able to somewhat sneak Hisashi out of there, and demand to know what's going on. Hisashi tells Hiruzen about Naruto's abuse, and Hiruzen's disgusted by this. Such an elite, such as Hiyashi would treat a child this way. Hisashi then explains that, Naruto's not the one that killed those Kumogakure Shinobi, it was Naruto. As Hiruzen didn't even know this, it was only the Hyuga that knew what happened. So, Hiruzen couldn't help but watch, just hoping that Hiyashi gets what he deserves from Naruto. Eventually, Naruto pinned down Hiyashi by his throat, hitting him in the face over and over and over, till Hisashi and other people had to pull Naruto off of Hiyashi. Eventually with this, well, Hyuga would approach Hiyashi, and Hiyashi would say, Lord Third, can you get this demon away from me? Oh, he deserves to die for what he just did. Hyuga would suddenly kick Hiyashi right in the neck, knocking him out immediately. And Hyuga would tell the elders, saying that he should banish them from Konoha for what they've just done. Immediately, they look at Hisashi, and he is smirking, and immediately they realize what he did. But one of them activated a seal. Hisashi has a kunai to their throat, saying, you dare raise a hand seal to the third Hokage. That's when the elders are like, no, it was for you. Hisashi says, oh. And does a about to cut their throats until Hyuga says, Hisashi, calm down. Hisashi would nod and put the kunai away. We see Naruto calming down and panting, and Hyuga will catch Naruto as he falls over. After that, Karma would tell Naruto good job, but just tell Naruto working his martial arts better. That fighting style that he uses is very awful. It's disgusting. It's not even fighting style. It's just Naruto. It's very sloppy with Naruto just being really strong and fast. That's the only advantage he has to it. But into this, when Hiyashi does wake up, Hyuga actually demands Hiyashi to more or less train Naruto properly. But if he doesn't, well, he'll have some Anbu give a personal message to Hiyashi's family with some swords and kunai. Hiyashi never actually heard Hyuga talk like this, and was actually very nervous. With this, Hiyashi had more or less just left Naruto alone. Instead, Hisashi trained Naruto a lot more during the day, and Hiyashi got ordered to remove the seals on Hisashi's family. So not Naruto, but Neji and Hisashi don't have seals anymore. They're actually able to train to their full ability. Due to Naruto actually being able to train properly day and night, well, he's actually able to pick up Hyuga martial arts a lot easier. But Naruto, one thing, due to him being a hybrid Hyuga, well, he's able to have somewhat a functioning Byakugan in one eye, but the other eye doesn't really function out too well as a Byakugan. One eye seems to have a time limit for the Byakugan, while the other eye doesn't seem to have a large time limit. Well, each Sharingan Byakugan has a time limit. It's just one eye seems to only work for a few minutes, while the other eye seems to be able to work for hours on end. Hiyashi just chops it up to Naruto being a quote-unquote hybrid scum, and Naruto doesn't take it to heart, but let's tell Hiyashi he'll beat his ass again. That Naruto and Hiyashi are kind of like rivals now, but Naruto think of Hiyashi as a stepping stone, and Hiyashi thinks of Naruto as a potential rival for the clan head stand. I guess not stand, but rival for the clan head throne. This actually, due to Naruto just actually sharing a liking to Hinata as a friend, Neji eventually goes closer to Hinata, so yeah. But one day, while Naruto's around 12 years old, before he graduates the academy, well, they don't want Naruto to become a shinobi. They want him to stay as a weapon for the Hyuga, but only a secret one. They don't want Naruto to be known to the world as a Hyuga Jinchuriki. They can get a same reputation, but also still keep it as a prize. So they bring Naruto inside to the Hyuga compound, and we'll pull out Senbon and Kunai, and a few shuriken as well. And, well, all day and night, Naruto's then cut up. By the time it's morning, Naruto's bedroom covered in blood, and Neji would walk in, seeing Naruto looking like this. Eventually, Neji ended up picking up Naruto, running to the nearest hospital. Even as Hyuga guards tried to stop Neji from running out with Naruto, Hisashi already saw Neji running with Naruto on his back, and he appeared in front of them with Hinata behind him. They knock out both the guards in one go. With that, Neji immediately rushes Naruto to the hospital, and Hyuga is told by Hinata about Naruto. That they go to the hospital. Well, here Hyuga does, seeing the state of Naruto's body, and now Hyuga then yells for Hiyashi, and he calls the clan head meeting. In the meeting, Hyuga discusses the state of Naruto's body, and Hiyashi would ask, "Why are you looking at me like that?" And that's when Hyuga says, according to some reports of the branch family, Hyuga elders and Hyuga elites were the ones in Naruto's bedroom around the time the injuries supposedly occurred. Immediately, all the clan heads look at Hiyashi. Shaku would then stand up, walking over to Hiyashi, sneakily doing so. And Hyuga would tell him to sit back down. But then Shikaku would wink, and suddenly multiple members of the Nara Anbu would grab Hiyashi and basically hold swords to his gut. Then Shikaku would say, for threatening his son's best friend, he should kill him right here and now. And Chozo also has some Akimichi guys standing right over Hiyashi, and they then use their expansion jutsu, and about to slam their fist down on Hiyashi to kill him. But Chozo just holds them back, saying, nope, not quite yet. Let's wait for Hyuga's orders. Well, Hyuga does say one thing. The Hyuga are to be moved to the outskirts of Konoha, where the Uchiha used to remain. Sasuke will now live in the village on the outskirts. Immediately with that, Hiyashi would yell, "Wait, that's blasphemy! We're destroying the village. Those on the outskirts, Konoha will be in danger." Yun says, "No, I'll be keeping a child safe is what I'll be doing." Immediately with that, Hiyashi's kicked out, of the clan head, of the clan council, city council, and most clans basically moved outside of Konoha. Then Naruto has to stay in the hospital for the majority of the time. The time he recovers, with the Nine-Tails' help, because Nine-Tails couldn't heal Naruto fully. These wounds were pretty severe. He's lucky to be alive currently. Well, by the time Naruto wakes up, it's been around a month. And, well, he's been awake for a while. Just by the time his wounds are fully healed and almost scarred over, well, he's actually able to more or less be a genin. He's already able to perform most of the jutsu for the clan, not for the clan, but to become a genin. It's a headband, and due to him not really having a genin team, and, well, Neji has one, it's just as full, Sasuke and Sakura are the ones without extra teammates, so Naruto ends up joining their team. As he joins their team, Sasuke would question Naruto, why is he on this team? If he's a pretty smart guy. And Naruto just tells Sasuke he was in the hospital for the last month, so he was basically dropped to the last place in the academy. Sasuke then thinks that's why he was Rookie of the Year. He got injured. There's no Naruto, but, well, you know what happened to him. For this, we have Naruto basically being part of Team Kakashi. And Kakashi actually doesn't do the belt test on them, because Naruto, he's actually really good with teamwork. Everyone knows this if you've been on Naruto's team. Even Hisashi's statements that Naruto's teamwork excels even among most Jonin. Because Naruto actually is a really good fighter solo, but as a group, well, he is able to read the situation pretty well. He's a good analytic fighter. Kind of like Vegeta. He more or less analyzes a fight while it's going on and is able to somewhat do it really well. So then we go on to Naruto in the Land Waves arc. The Land Waves arc, well, Naruto's around the same size as Sasuke, it's just he's really skinny, because he wasn't really fed too well. He's more or less fed the bare minimum. He was fed the bare minimum, but his body's going back to normal. But at least we have been wondering about Hisashi, Hinata, and Neji. Well, Neji actually moved in with my guy, while Hisashi is trying to find somewhere for them to live in Konoha. Away from the Hyuga clan. They officially broke off from it as they were exiled from them. Then due to Hinata being associated with Naruto, she's eventually exiled as well. And, well, she actually moved in with Kurenai. So Sashi's basically doing tons of missions, trying to get enough money for him and Neji Hinata to have a big house. And Naruto as well. Naruto currently lives with Sasuke. Well, he recently moved in with Sasuke the moment he became a genin, so, yeah. But Sasuke doesn't really carry on in the Uchiha compound anymore. He's happy that the Uchiha compound got the respect they needed, and that they were moved back to their original place. It was just so empty and barren that didn't really matter. But yeah, so with this we can go on to just Land of Waves arc. Doesn't know that that's why Naruto is like Hyuga, but looks so thin. And Houston says that Naruto is someone who suffered a really horrible childhood and would rather not discuss it. Tazuna actually feels really bad about this, and even if he's drunk, he has emotion. Tazuna actually apologizes to Naruto, bowing down, saying, let's just go. They nod, that they head out. Naruto in this one, well, he's actually able to be a really good Sentry Ninja to the point where he's even surpassing most Anbu Hyuga. Because all he really does is train Byakugan, because he had no talent for it, and when he got it, he trained it to its max. He also trained day and night just hoping it would not, just hoping that if he got strong enough, Hyuga would not pick on him anymore. Didn't really work out too well, but he trained day and night, day by day. So, his Byakugan and Taijutsu for Hyuga style is really advanced. But more or less, just to avoid being considered a Hyuga, he just resorts to street fighting. But he mastered it at the point where it's not sloppy. But still, he would actually prefer to use it if he's in a sticky situation. Eventually, when he activates the Byakugan, he's able to somewhat see through Genjutsu. So, with the Demon Brothers, he's able to see through their Genjutsu, and actually releases it. The Demon Brothers shoot out of the puddle, Sasuke would throw kunai right into their gauntlets, and actually makes it hard for them to shoot out, with the kunai jamming it. Naruto immediately would dash towards one of the brothers, hitting him in the gut full force, sending him flying. The other brother is suddenly hit by a fireball from Sasuke. Well, the one that was hit by a fireball isn't dead, but he's pretty badly burned. Kakashi interrogates him, and they're able to get the information they need. Kakashi would thank Naruto for actually being able to see the Genjutsu. And everyone was able to tell them Naruto was on guard because the Byakugan activated around and like 2 hours into the mission, and it's actually pointed out there's someone ahead. So yeah. With the mist, Naruto is someone on guard again, using natural chakra to see through genjutsu or have automatically broken on him. So for him, there's no mist, but those blades something flying at them. And yes, Naruto is skinny, but still, he's strong as hell. So with the blade flying at him, catches it, but is barely able to hold it up. So he stabs it into the ground, and stares at Zabuza, who's going to body flicker right onto the sword. Naruto's leg shot in the air, Zabuza would appear, and Zabuza has to block the hit immediately as he's flying off the sword. Zabuza realizes he's fighting a Hyuga, and say, oh, that explained it. I'm fighting those monsters. Naruto then says, Well, doesn't say anything, actually. He doesn't really speak too much. But then he dashes at Zabuza, and goes for just, like, a lot of strikes. He's doing a bit of street fighting, mixing in with Hyuga Taijutsu, which actually does confuse, not Hiyashi, but does confuse Zabuza a lot. Usually, Naruto ends up dodging one of Zabuza's strikes, at least to him, with Zabuza having a lot of chakra points shut down as he's being attacked from behind. So this, a few Zabuza's chakra points are shut down, at least Zabuza fighting Kakashi, who's able to beat Zabuza a lot easier. Haku does come out of nowhere, and Naruto begins fighting Haku. And Naruto's actually kind of on par with Haku, exactly on par with him. Eventually, Haku actually is able to get advantage of Naruto, or he thinks so, when he tries to slash Naruto's shirt. But it realizes that Naruto is actually so thin, the kunai, or not the kunai, the shin bone only cut the shirt, not the skin. Naruto eventually grabs Haku by the neck, and slams him on the ground, knocking him out. So Haku being knocked unconscious. Naruto looks at Zabuza, who's just unconscious by being hit from by being hit with a water dragon jutsu. And with that, Naruto actually asks should I leave him alone, or at least tie them to a tree or something. Kakashi decides on tying them to a tree, and Naruto actually sends chakra through a rope, and then emit earth chakra, so more or less basically make the rope as hard as cement. And then we'll make it even harder than cement. Pause. So this we can more or less go on to see just the land of waves going on. And Naruto actually proceeds to eat a lot of food as well. Thousand actually tells his daughter to make Naruto the most food besides Inari. So with this, Naruto ends up eating a lot of food. And actually, Sasuke lets up for seconds because, well, everyone pities Naruto. He hates it, but it happens. Naruto can already do chakra control pretty well due to Neji teaching him how to do it, and then Neji became a genin on my guy's team. And Naruto does eventually end up being able to do Shadow Clone Jutsu by learning how to do clones, but then actually accidentally overflows one with chakra, realizing he can make a Shadow Clone that's tangible. So Naruto begins working on team attacks, but only with himself. Eventually one day in the forest, he meets Haku, and Haku and him actually get on pretty well. Haku was able to break out just by basically freezing the rope, and it snapped. Naruto isn't using his Byakugan because he's pretty low on chakra from training all night, but still able to talk to Haku, and him and Haku get along pretty well. And with this, well, Naruto's able to tell Haku's actually a girl, and that's when Haku will be a girl, because Naruto doesn't have a ship to go with. And I will not give him Ino. Ino's a bitch. So, yeah. Naruto does eventually end up, Haku a little too well. To the point where Haku and him are getting a little, not like S-word touchy, but, they're being a little too friendly for people who just met. But eventually Haku would leave, and it's shocked to see someone so, just strong, or as aggressive as Naruto was in battle, to be so kind. Eventually, when Haku would meet up with Zabuza, he reveals he met Naruto, and Naruto's actually a very kind person. As Naruto actually opened up to Haku a lot, because Haku opened up to being a very sad childhood, and Naruto opened up as well. Zabuza actually hears how tragic Naruto's childhood was from Haku. Zabuza even begins to pity Naruto. If Naruto actually hears someone openly pitying him, he may start a fight. He hates being pitied. He's a pretty arrogant person, or not arrogant, prideful person. So yeah. When Zabuza does arrive to attack, well, Naruto still fights Haku, as him and Haku would then basically just clash into each other. Sasuke is the one to take out the bandits that were attacking Inari and his mom. Sasuke was the one training all night with Sakura helping him. But eventually, Naruto just proceeds to fight Haku. And, well, with him actually being able to actually hear, the whole, if you have someone to fight for, you get a lot stronger. Well, Sasuke and him actually living together for the last month or two. Well, actually, not a month or 2 years, for the last month. And Sasuke got pretty close, as to the point where actually they're really decent friends. It's just they don't always train together or speak a lot. They're both pretty quiet people, but they know how they each feel about each other. They consider each other good friends. So Naruto is fighting for Sasuke, and Hisashi, Neji, and Hinata, and for the rest of the branch members of the Hyuga clan. He's fighting so Higashi will know the branch members can be strong too, even surpassing the main branch. Now this, Naruto does eventually end up defeating Haku, and Naruto ends up taking off Haku's mask, and he then actually says that Haku was right, having someone to fight for does make him a lot stronger. Naruto then goes to Kunai and Chakra, throwing it right at Zabuza, suddenly it clashed under his blade, shattering it completely. Naruto had to use Wind Chakra. That's what he's able to use Wind Chakra pretty easily at that, actually. The shatters the blade Zabuza was using, actually leads to Kakashi's Kunai, slashing Zabuza's chest wide open, not killing him, but it's a pretty serious injury. Zabuza would fall on the ground, coughing out blood. Then Gato's men arrive, and she stand over Naruto and Haku. When the men go slash down on Naruto's head first to kill him and Haku in one go, but then that guy is punched right through the whole crowd of the guys, of bandits. And with that, all of them are kind of sent flying all around the bridge. And Gato realizes that he's dealing with actual shinobi, nonetheless a Hyuga. And she does something to be careful because Naruto's a Hyuga. Naruto ends up standing up, putting his fist in chakra, of course, hands in chakra, then beginning to use a technique he recently learned from Hisashi. 8 trigrams, 64 palms. As he begins using this, he's hitting all the bandits, sends them all flying off the bridge or into Gato. Eventually, Naruto begins spinning and walking at the same time. Eventually, he then uses one Byakugan that has a time limit on it, or a much shorter time limit. Then clashes his fist with Gato's chest, basically caving in his chest and killing him. That Naruto defeated all the bandits himself. Naruto then removes the bandages from his wrist, putting them right around Zabuza's chest, making sure he doesn't die from blood loss. Like, yeah, I said his wrist, you'd know why. But, Naruto would eventually end up going on to more or less help out Haku, as Haku is eventually just redeemed, and Naruto and Haku just get along. Zabuza would tell Haku he's probably going to let Haku live a normal life in the Hidden Leaf, but he's willing to join the Anbu or do whatever the Hidden Leaf wants, be a prisoner, something that allows him to basically do everything he can for Haku. So this, Zabuza is invited to the Hidden Leaf, but as a personal Anbu of Hiruzen. So Zabuza agrees to this, and well, yeah. Now Naruto is eventually able to get his own apartment, as well he'd done this mission. It's actually enough for a pretty small apartment, but still, it's like I guess the same apartment he had in Canon, and he buys that. He doesn't really want to live with anyone, but he wants his own place. This place is actually pretty neat and clean, as well Higashi would beat Naruto for having a dirty place, and Naruto still having that fear of it, will actually have a pretty neat and clean place. Now eventually, while he lives there, Haku eventually would move in with Naruto. Zabuza doesn't have a house yet, so Haku and Naruto are roommates. Now for the next few weeks, Naruto would end up proceed to train as hard as possible, go against the training bag, even Haku teaching Naruto how to basically have his speed. It's only in ability, Haku and Naruto were rivals, but in speed, Haku would surpass Naruto greatly. So Naruto's able to somewhat just be really fast and strong, and for the course of 2 weeks, Naruto's body actually looked somewhat decent for someone his age. The thing is, Naruto has really been taking good care of his body, so his hair's kind of long right now. But still, it's long and greasy, but yeah. But everyone's happy to see that Naruto looks normal now, instead of very malnourished and thin. So yeah. Naruto even picked up water stuff from Haku, so he's able to somewhat, use ice release, but not too well. So with this, Hisashi actually able to buy a house for him, Neji, and Hinata for them all to live in. Neji then moves away from that guy, living with Hisashi and Hinata. So yeah. Now we go on to the Chunin exams. The Chunin exams, well, Hanabi was trained a lot harder than Hinata was, but still got really good treatment. So with this, Hanabi is actually somewhat already getting. It's just she's not being able to participate in the Chunin exams. But Hanabi is more or less taught to be someone who was able to defeat not Hanabi, but to defeat Hinata and Neji. So yeah, they didn't really care about Naruto. It's basically impossible to defeat him if he controls the Nine Tails, like he does against Higashi. But eventually, Naruto ends up coming into the Chunin exams, and he's met by a high five from Neji. Naruto and Neji begin talking, and Rock Lee would actually ask Neji who Naruto is. And then Neji basically tells Rock Lee that Naruto is kind of like his cousin. Naruto and Rock Lee begin talking, Hinata would approach them and begin talking as a group. Now, Rock Lee can tell that Naruto isn't really too talkative of a person, it's just, Neji encourages Naruto to speak a lot more. So, yeah. And then eventually Naruto's there, even as he's going to more or less like go up to as he's about to walk in the room, Haku would walk in, kiss Naruto on the cheek, and say good luck. But for some everyone knows Naruto showing emotion, as he has that whole gag where he just blushes and like his mouth disappears. With that, Naruto ends smiling, and he goes into the exam room, and well, he does the test. Naruto's still pretty dumb, it's just he's antisocial. So, yeah. No, he's not dumb because he's antisocial. I mean, like, he's not quite genius at all. He's pretty dumb. Like, he only got rookie of the year because he's powerful. Like, he's not dumb. He's not smart enough to answer the whole test perfectly. Like, he's an average intelligent person. It's just he acts dumb a lot. I mean, at least when he's comfortable. But power is what got him rookie of the year. So, yeah, or almost rookie of the year. Almost rookie of the year. But now Naruto doesn't pass the test. Well, he does actually pass it because he does what he needs to do. But usually when he goes to Anko, just for like the whole Force of Death arc, they go through it, and eventually they come across, Team 7 still comes across Orochimaru. And when Naruto's fighting them, Naruto for the first time begins letting out his rage, even just sheer, his rage and frustration out in battle. This is attacks, yes, are not, well, as you know, they're not sloppy at all, but they're a lot more powerful than they would have been. Pause real quick. So, Naruto begins letting out a bit of rage and frustration he has against Orochimaru, kind of preventing Naruto from going near Sasuke, because Naruto begins using 64 palms and everything. Point where it goes beyond 64, going to... So they said go to 82 palms, then just proceed to go on and on and on. So yeah, Naruto basically just goes all out against Orochimaru, and even begins using Nine Tails chakra, making this 64 palms expand, or 82 palms expand, going on to points cover to a decent surface area to the point where Orochimaru's being sliced apart by Naruto's attacks. Eventually, Naruto landed one final punch, being a 1-inch punch, sending Orochimaru flying through the forest. By the time Orochimaru lands, he's coughing up blood, and Sasuke thanking Naruto for saving him. Naruto would eventually let out a yell in rage. Suddenly, he would go into Two Tails' cloak, thumbing his fist into Orochimaru's gut, caving in his chest, not gut, but in his chest, caving it in, and making Orochimaru cough out blood. Suddenly, a giant sound wave hits Naruto, sending him flying away. Naruto landed on his tippy toes, dashing right through the sound wave again, and just fired at him. And using a second tail to more or less as a weapon, it stabs right through Zaku. And well, Naruto then hit by a sound wave, not a sound wave, but a sound thing going into Naruto's ears. And more scrambles Naruto's brain for a bit. Naruto fall over unconscious when suddenly we see Neji jump through the air, yelling, "Don't touch my brother." On this, Neji will land basically a leaf hurricane on the chin of Dosu, knocking him out. We see Tenten come out of nowhere, launching explosive kunai right at Keen. This Keen is actually killed by Tenten. Well, we see Zaku, who's just dead. Naruto stabbing a hole through him with a tail. Neji ends up beating Dosu half to death until Lee pulls him off of him. But we see Orochimaru slither away. Then we see Kabuto watching from a distance. Now, Neji, Rock Lee, and... not Sasuke. Neji, Rock Lee, and Naruto were able to sense Kabuto, so Rock Lee just attacked him immediately. And Rock Lee doesn't care he's wearing a leaf headband. He was watching the whole fight. He knew it. Eventually, Kabuto would go in for a one punch until Rock Lee would then push us to a third gate, dashing him right through the attack, grabbing Kabuto by the throat, climbing him right through the ground. Right, not through, but right into the ground, almost breaking Kabuto's spine. Almost. Rock Lee would land, leaving Kabuto alone now, and go out of the third gate. With this Neji ends up picking up Naruto and grabbing Sasuke and walking away. Neji ends up carrying Naruto away, as well. They found the scroll they needed on Kabuto, and the scroll that Team 7 needed was on Orochimaru. With this, they go in the tower, and Naruto's just kind of just sighing that he was beaten up, or he thinks he was, until Neji reveals he won. It's just people invaded the fight. So yeah. So I guess with this we can just more or less move on to the preliminaries, but I'm in this part before that begins. Sorry this was sloppy, this is my attempt at it. And by the way, if Naruto treated too horribly, well, everyone hates him, and the Hyuga are especially brutal, so I wouldn't expect anything less from the Hyuga, honestly. But goodbye.